LeBron at this point of his career wants to win championships, right? And to like enjoy his time at the end of his run. I
truly think it's 50-50.
It's wild.
I want to enjoy myself and play good basketball. And if we are in a spot where we could potentially win the title, great. We can almost look at cities in the United States LeBron James would live in, determining where he would go play basketball. I think it's that much of a even split with lifestyle and hoop. And the Warriors are in a really interesting spot because if they do add all these guys, they could clean house in a couple years and completely start over. And that's very attractive to me if I'm a Warriors fan or in the Warriors front office. Steph's deal's up in a few years. You can clean that out. They just signed Porzingis to a 2-year deal. LeBron is a free agent. He probably signs for one with a player option. That's what he's been doing for years now, to give himself the flexibility of either leaving or just being able to decide what he wants to do. It looks like they are gearing up to bring in all their buddies, Steph, Draymond, LeBron, whoever else they could backfill the roster with, to then try to make a run for the next 2 seasons. If they can't get it done, I think a lot of these guys just pack it up and retire. Steph will be in his 40s. We know LeBron James is already in his 40s. But it'd be a clean break for the Warriors if this doesn't work out like they want it to.
Okay, so it was reported last night, Kristaps Porzingis is back in with Golden State. So he's in the mix. As Sean mentioned, Jimmy Butler is under contract for $56.8 million this upcoming season. Steph Curry is under contract for $62.5 this upcoming season. Draymond declined his player option, so he needs a new contract. Depending on how we break this down, if Draymond and LeBron both sign there, I'm guessing Draymond will be making less than $27 million.
By a wide margin.
So Draymond is the sacrificial lamb in this situation, right? Like he's the one that's going to fall on the sword to get the king. Is that what we're doing here? So that's the group: Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, Kristaps Porzingis, Draymond Green, LeBron James. Al Horford declined his player option, so he's technically a free agent. I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of older players around the league willing to take less to join a group of guys who are putting together something, putting a crew together, right? This is like Ocean's 11. They're putting together a group, and they're going to try and win a championship. But, Sean, when we look at it, Sean Little in for Abdalla today, Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports, that group that we just listed off, how competitive can they actually be in a league that's kind of turned the corner and become a league about younger players and younger stars? I don't know how successful a group of old dogs going together for one last ride, if that's actually going to accomplish what they're looking for. You look at the teams that had a lot of success last season in the NBA. A lot of them were led by younger players, and especially in the Western Conference. Oklahoma City and San Antonio, young cores. They each have their faults. The Thunder won a championship, though. You got to give them that credit. And the Spurs, for the way they looked in the finals, exhausted at the end, Wemby, especially in the fourth quarters, they got there. And quite honestly, in the Western Conference, no one was close to either of these two teams throughout the season or the playoffs. So how competitive can a team of the older vet stars be in the Western Conference?
I think you could take this even another level up, and I'll really play devil's advocate here.
Yeah, go for it.
Joe LeCobb and his sports entertainment group own the Warriors. They have multiple titles in the bag.
Yeah.
They, of course, would love to win some more, but it's more about, I would say the last 3 seasons, their number one priority was trying to keep Steph Curry happy, keeping him in one jersey his entire career and him being a Warrior throughout. LeBron and the crew and those guys come, it's all about selling jerseys, having fun, packing the arena every single night, and maybe we can make a little noise as well. And is Steph going to be happy playing with LeBron? Is LeBron going to be happy playing with Steph? The answer is yes, yes, yes. And then somehow Draymond just gets to have fun his entire life and just kind of hang out with Steph and LeBron throughout. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
But it really crosses a lot of boxes. And after we get to would I live in San Francisco? Would we make a lot of money here in San Francisco? Do I get to play with my friends? And we might be able to compete with San Antonio and Oklahoma City, depending on how we fill out the roster. That all those things are going to determine how much money LeBron James is willing to take on a pay cut. And depending on how much money he's willing to take will determine how much they can fill out the roster and how much they want to win. Because, Bleck, let's be honest here.
Yep.
If this was all about winning, LeBron James would be taking, it wouldn't even be a question on if he's going to take less money. Would he take less money? The only way to really, really put together a competitive roster with Steph Curry and Golden State would be to take a boatload of less money than you have been taking your entire career, with most of that being the max when eligible. So if this was all about winning, there wouldn't be a question if LeBron was going to take less money. It would be about how much less he'd be willing. We're still trying to figure out if he is going to take less money at all.
Right. And he may still want the max, which is definitely possible, and he's earned it. He's worth it at this stage of his career. If it's my favorite team, I wouldn't want to go that direction. But that's just because I would rather invest in younger players than to try and hold on for one last type of ride. And I do think the way that you lay out the idea in the Bay Area, in San Francisco, and all the tech billionaires that are there filling the seats at Chase Center, that all sounds good until you start losing games, right? Like LeBron's in for it, Steph's in for it, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, they're all in for it until you lose 7 of 9, right? You're sitting 10th in the conference. Like that's where I think the stuff kind of, it could all sound good now in the summer because you're assuming the best. Teams are assuming the best. The players are assuming the best, right? Why wouldn't you? That's the way they've gotten to this point. But if you are not as competitive as the other young teams in the Western Conference, they're going to hit some rough patches throughout the season. And at that point, is that going to be a problem with Draymond and Jimmy and LeBron and Steph? And it's always Steph's team. It's only Steph's team. It's only ever going to be Steph's team, no matter if it's LeBron James or Jimmy Butler or anyone else thrown into the equation. So, like, that's where I would put pause into the idea of, like, they're all just there to have fun for one final season. Yeah, it sounds good until you get to the middle of January and Golden State is the 9th seed in the conference.
I just think they want to win. I just think it's more 50-50 than people want to believe. They want to think that LeBron is grinding in the gym at 5 a.m. and he's going to go to Golden State.
He had the video today. He's letting us know.
And they're grinding all day, and they're just about basketball, and they want to win, and nothing else matters. LeBron is not in that stage anymore. It's just, that's the fact. So they want to win, yes. They also want to enjoy their life and be in a place where their family can enjoy and they can make money. That's just the fact of it for me.
I saw this stat. I brought it to the show last week. I want to read it to you because I think it's interesting as far as considering the perspective of how to build a competitive team in today's landscape in the NBA. This is from Kirk Goldsberry from The Ringer. Here's the stat. He wrote a whole column about the Heat trading for Giannis, and that the way the Heat are going about building a team now seems to be kind of passé in the way that teams kind of construct and to have success. And he wrote this: consider this. Among the 25 players who played the most minutes in the 2026 NBA playoffs, only 2 of them were 32 or older: Tobias Harris and James Harden. If you expand that list to the top 50 most active players in the postseason, you still only get 5 players at 32 or older. It's Harris, Harden, LeBron James, Paul George, Rudy Gobert. Why is that important? Well, I think that goes directly to the idea that depth in the league and good teams are now young. Like, your window to win is when you have your best players from ages 25 to 30. And like the old way, the way from like 15, 20 years ago of trying to land Tracy McGrady on his second big contract to try and become a winner. Like it didn't work then. And it certainly isn't the way the NBA is being played today, is that all of the players getting the most minutes in the league in the playoffs are all under the age of 32. So, I mean, I think that's just something, if you're a Warriors fan today and you think you have a really good chance to land LeBron James, you got to have a moment of pause to be like, we continue to give up our future to chase winning with these older stars, and it may not take place.
But what's the other option? Moving off of Steph, what I mean?
The Steph Curry thing is a tough thing, right? Like, because I think Steph Curry has earned the opportunity to finish out his career in one location.
On his own terms.
On his own terms. I think there's very few players in the NBA that get to do that.
So couldn't this be part of his own terms right here? Go get my buddy LeBron?
It could be.
The age thing is really interesting because I think partly of why the Lakers thing worked last year, they probably would have been top 3 in the West if Austin doesn't go down. Luka.
Oh, I'm with you.
Luka gets hurt, right? But that worked because a lot of the usage LeBron was able to offload to LeBron and Austin Reeves.
Yeah.
He wasn't asked to do a lot on the nightly basis. There's not going to be too many guys to give the rock up to out in Golden State that are not around his age. Like, it's going to be Steph. It's going to be LeBron. It's going to be all those guys soaking up a lot of the usage. I don't see Jimmy Butler. That situation's either going to have to be he gets traded and he gets bought out and he ends up somewhere else for a different number. If LeBron does go there, I don't see how they pull off Jimmy Butler being there. But the age thing is interesting because if they are going to be the two guys, they're going to be asked to carry a lot of the weight throughout the entire year and the playoffs.
Listen, as a diehard Chicago Bulls fan, if someone needs to offload Jimmy Butler for a year or two, I'm willing to take Jimmy Butler for a season.
I'm a big Jimmy guy.
Right. Wait, can Jimmy Butler come back to Chicago for 1 year and be a free agent next season? I'll move some money if that's the case. So we'll take some contracts. I saw this. This is just a couple minutes ago on social media. Chris Haynes, really good on the NBA, reporting that the Cleveland Cavaliers are interested in a second reunion with LeBron James as the franchise greatest player finishing his career with Cleveland. A league source tells Chris Haynes. So Cleveland maybe jumping into the LeBron sweepstakes. How about this? Look at us right here on June 30th. And we didn't think we would get LeBron James information today. We didn't think that we would get LeBron, commanding the attention of the sports world, right? Yes.
Who is he?
LeBron James.
Will he build another super team?
Got to start with Superman. Man, I could have used him on the Cavs.
How many weeks will he stretch this?
Not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5.
LeBron Watch 2026 with Bleck and Abdalla.
The answer to the question everybody wants to know. LeBron, what's your decision?
In this form, I'm going to take my talents.
And hopefully we get an answer today. And that will be the end of the LeBron James free agent watch. The news today, LeBron has informed the Lakers that he is moving on. Or essentially the way that ESPN worded it is that he told the Lakers it's time for you to move on. And I'm going to play elsewhere, which is a interesting way to phrase that. So,
what was the Magic Johnson meme? He's like, I'm not going to be here.
Yeah, right? Like,
I'm not going to be here, guys.
Sean Little in for Abdalla today. Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. Sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting small businesses with affordable coverage options. Quote today at progressivecommercial.com. We're also talking about the NFL as we count down the days until training camp begins. We have 32 questions in 32 days. Today's team, the Washington Commanders. That question's coming up next.
Just like your fireworks this time of year, the NBA offseason is exploding. GMs are trading players while we're dealing the insight and answers you want to know. Which teams are setting themselves to pop off next season and which could die out quicker than a cheap firecracker. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Sean Little is filling in for Abdalla this week as we hang out with you until 3 Eastern. The Washington Commanders report to training camp on July 28th. We count down the days. This is 32 questions in 32 days.
"32 questions in 32 days. Bleck and Abdalla discuss every NFL team's biggest question heading into training camp. Today's team, the Washington Commanders.
Daniels throws down the sideline for Terry McLaurin. McLaurin is loose. Lightning strikes twice in Washington.
Today's question, can Jaden Daniels return to star status and stay healthy?
32 questions in 32 days. The Washington Commanders are the featured team today here on the Bleck and Abdalla show. Jaden Daniels can return to star status and stay healthy. I think those are two separate things, even though the back end of that, I think, has a lot to do with the actual team success for the Washington Commanders. I think he can certainly be a star-level player. I think the way that he plays, he will just always find himself injured, because Jaden Daniels, no matter whether it's in the NFL or in college football, he takes a lot of big hits. So, unfortunately, I don't think he necessarily stays healthy, but I do think he's a star in the NFL.
Without question. His rookie year, he was unbelievable. Took a step back, got injured in year 2, but Bleck, absolutely. First of all, he's very slender.
Yeah.
He takes a lot of shots, and that's just not sustainable. He has to figure out a way to take less shots and run the ball less. Say what you want about Caleb Williams, he very rarely gets hit. He's always sliding. He's always making people miss. He doesn't take chances with people being overly physical on the defensive side with him. And there were times throughout the year, Caleb Williams weighing in at 230 plus.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams is a rock-solid, big dude. Jaden Daniels is not that. So I agree. If he could stay healthy, he's there, but they have to figure out a way. They were asking him to do too much on offense with his legs and his arm in year 1. It bled into year 2. He got hurt. They have to figure out a way to get him less hits, just less, asking him to run the ball less with tote the rock less with Jaden Daniels, I said.
I do know that some of the storylines coming out of the D.C. area around the Commanders here in this offseason, what's interesting to me is that the way that they brought along Jaden Daniels as a rookie was they were using stuff from his college playbooks to mix in and to make him feel comfortable in the NFL. That works initially, but for all NFL quarterbacks, you eventually have to get under center, and you got to play that way. And the way that he's been working here in this offseason has been getting to that. So I do think he will have more success. And if he keeps himself upright and he doesn't take the big hits, he has the ability to be that type of player that we saw in his rookie season. To kind of take to an example of some of the other players from that draft class that I think are notable, Bo Nix doesn't take the hits quite as hard that Daniels does. I would say the same for Drake May. All three, Caleb Williams, May, and Nix, they all do a better job of protecting themselves. I'm not going to say the same about Penix Jr. Penix Jr. is always hurt, and I think he'll just always be that type of quarterback. But, yeah, I mean, for the Commanders, the big question is, can Jaden Daniels stay healthy in this upcoming season? And if he can, I think the Commanders can try and fight for a wild card spot. They were 5-12 last season. I love their first-round draft pick of Sonny Styles. And let's make Sonny Styles our Defensive Player of the Week, brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Sonny Styles is our Defensive Player of the Week. So we were at the NFL Draft, Abdalla and I, and we were backstage, and we got a chance to talk to all of the players that were there in person who were drafted on draft night. Sonny Styles sits down, and we have a great conversation. You can find the video on our YouTube channel, Bleck Abdalla Show. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. He gets up. He walks out. Raj, Abdalla, myself, we all look at each other and we go, that dude's he's going to play in the league for a long time, and that dude's going to be a captain. And it's no surprise he was a captain at Ohio State for Ryan Day and the Buckeyes. And he will be someone who's a difference maker. And just sitting in his presence and having a conversation with him, you can tell, Sean, like, that guy's going to be a stud. And even if he's not a superstar linebacker, like, he's going to be one of those guys that is a good locker room guy and a good vet, right? Like, when he gets to that point in his career, like, I could see him playing 8-10 years in the NFL and being that type of starting linebacker. So Sonny Styles will be our defensive player of the week, brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission.
The it factor is a real thing, and presence is a real thing. And it really jumps off the screen or in person when the person is young. And you're like, wow, this guy's talking and moving around like this at this age.
Yeah.
How you move is very important. And if you're going to bring a guy into the league and give him a bunch of money and give him a bunch of responsibility and expect a bunch of production out of him, he has to move the right way and have the right mentality. And when you sit down with a guy like Sonny Styles, if you feel that, it's not it's not a coincidence that you feel that when you're in one of those guys' presence. So all that stuff matters, and you can argue with some that they would say it matters more than what goes on the field, because we could teach that. We could improve technique. We could change and improve different schemes. The character and how you carry yourself and how you move and what you believe and what your character is a completely different animal that you typically can't morph.
And I believe behind the scenes, not to give him, because I could see someone who's going to start their NFL career to be like, why are you telling me this now? But I'm pretty sure Sonny Styles is one of the couple guys that Raj immediately was like, hey, man, if you want to do this after you're done playing, you could definitely be on TV or do radio type of thing. And, like, I guess that you don't want to necessarily tell someone that the night that they get drafted, right? Because they're thinking they're going to be a pro for the next 20 years or whatever, right? Yeah. But it's like, if this doesn't work, you could definitely slide into a booth and you could be a broadcaster if you wanted to. Wasn't that Sonny Styles?
Yeah, right after he walked out of the curtain, after talking to you and Abdalla, because I was still there, like, ready for the next player, and he was talking to someone from Washington's PR staff, and they were like, what were they telling you? And he said, he started laughing. He goes, they said I could do media when I'm done playing. And he was like, he was trying to get the words out with that laugh. And I'm like, hey, we made a lasting impact on Sonny.
We'll be back. LeBron news coming up.
This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
That's right, Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app, Sirius XM channel 375, and all of our great radio affiliates around the country. I'm Chris Bleck, joined by Sean Little, hanging out in for Abdalla this week. Live from Chicago, we're on the air until 3 Eastern. You can call or text the show at 310-840-4910. We have big news in the NBA today. LeBron James has told the Los Angeles Lakers that he is moving on. And more importantly, the way it was phrased from ESPN is that LeBron informed the Lakers it's time that the Lakers can move on without him because he is playing elsewhere. We don't know where LeBron will end up. But at the moment, what we do know is LeBron has informed the Los Angeles Lakers that he will not be returning in this upcoming season. He does plan on playing. He's a free agent. Free agency starts tonight at 6 Eastern. So we've got you covered in all the different breaking news with the NBA free agency this evening here on Westwood One Sports. And we've kind of put together a short list of possible teams. We've seen reports of Golden State. We've seen reports about Miami. We've seen reports about Cleveland. It doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of teams that can necessarily go after LeBron and pique his interest because there are a lot of teams that could go after LeBron. It's just whether or not he would want to play there. Add this to the mix, something that I just saw on social media moments ago, Sean. This is from Anthony Slater, works for ESPN as well. He is reporting the Warriors' decision makers have been given no indication at this hour that they are the firm team LeBron is going to, per sources. There's a belief that they will have plenty of appeal, but it would appear that there is some level of recruitment required for LeBron James. Okay. Is this just the same old with LeBron? LeBron just constantly needs validation, and he needs someone to be chasing him. He's that guy, right? Like, there really is no other great spot for LeBron to go other than Golden State. So if his camp, Rich Paul, and his people are making the Warriors feel to the point where the Warriors are telling reporters that there's no guarantee he's coming here and we have to recruit him, what are we doing here? What is this?
Look, the recruitment has already started. That's why we've been hearing all the buzz around Steph, little phone call, little dinner, Draymond. That's his guy. Phone call. That's the recruitment. Now, maybe does LeBron want LeCobb and ownership to come out and say, we really want LeBron? Does maybe he want them to put the LeBron poster on the side of the building off the Golden Gate Bridge? Maybe we want to hang the LeBron flag off of the Golden Gate Bridge and say, come here, LeBron. Maybe that pushes it over the top. But, yeah, it's all semantics. You do have to make LeBron feel wanted. That's always been the case. That's from his time in Cleveland to his time in Miami, back to Cleveland. It's always been the case where he wants to feel comfortable and wanted, and that people are celebrating his greatness. Sure. I think he still, throughout his career, just feels slighted that he doesn't get as much respect as he thinks he deserves. So the recruitment may just need to be LeCobb saying, hey, you're going to be the guy that really changes the next couple of years for us. Come on over.
And we know how it works in sports. With every breakup, we get the thank you letter from the other side. The Los Angeles Lakers have released said letter on social media, and it comes to you from Jeannie Buss. She writes, LeBron James is one of the greatest athletes in history. We will always be thankful for his 8 years with the Lakers, including the title that he led in 2020 under the toughest imaginable circumstances and the countless records he broke in purple and gold. We wish him all the best in the future, both on and off the court. He will always be a cherished part of the Lakers family. So that's Jeannie Buss. Thank you, LeBron. I would say this to Lakers fans. You can join the show at 310-840-4910. Did you even like the LeBron era? First of all, it went on way longer than I even thought. Like, we have talked about this countless times here on the show, that, like, when you go and look at LeBron's stats and you see that he was in Los Angeles for 8 seasons, and then you compare that to, like, other players in other locations and the amount of time that they spent and, like, what you associate, like, I feel like there's a generation of us basketball fans that, like, I don't think of LeBron James as a Laker. He is a Cleveland Cavalier, and he left Cleveland to go play and buddy up in Miami. That's how I still view him, even though he played 8 seasons with the Los Angeles Lakers. And the reason why I ask Laker fans specifically, do you even enjoy or did you like the LeBron era? Listen, the Lakers, there's one other team in the league that has the rich history and credentials that the Los Angeles Lakers have. It's Boston and LA. That's it. And the Lakers have the greatest players to ever play the game come through their arenas. You know, the only one that didn't was Michael. That's it. Everyone else was a Laker at some point. I know I'm generally saying there are a lot of great NBA players that played elsewhere. But when you have Jerry West and Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal, and you have all these greats who all have statues outside the arena, and James Worthy, right? Like, all these great players, and LeBron is, like, tacked on somewhere. Like, I don't think Laker fans ever really thought LeBron was theirs. It just never felt, it felt like a business decision, right? Like, he went out there because he wanted to work on a production studio in Hollywood. That's why. And he likes living in LA. He's not a Laker. You know what I'm saying? Like,
isn't that part of being a Laker, though?
I think
you get to be in a couple movies. You get to have a production company and you win. Look, I mean, he did win there. Overall, he won the title in 2020.
He did.
Everyone was in the bubble. It is what it, and one more reminder about the bubble, there were multiple NBA players making hundreds of millions of dollars basically saying, "Get me out of here. This is a nightmare. I don't care about basketball this much. I'm mentally fried." We don't have to say their names. We don't have to go down that road. But
what about Jimmy Butler's coffee shop?
We got guys
Everyone
charging
loved that.
$100 cups of coffee. Like, I got to get out of here, man. This place is crazy. So it wasn't all, it wasn't all peaches and cream in the bubble. And LeBron and those guys were able to get it done. So say what you want about that. Everyone was in that position. LeBron took it to his advantage, used that rest. The break in the middle of the year was huge for LeBron. He gets the rest. They go on and win the title. So for me, that counts. Everyone was there. Some people couldn't wait to get out of there. LeBron went there and won the title and locked it and played hoop. So
it counts. Asterisks?
It counts. After that, they still were always competitive. They were mostly in the playoffs. So, I mean, coming there, if you would have said LeBron can win one more ring in LA and then they would compete in the toughest conference in hoop in the western side of the bracket, I would have said that was a success. So I don't see LeBron as a Laker when I close my eyes and think and see highlights, but I also think his time in LA was a success.
Okay, the Lakers, because they have a rich history, they have a lot of numbers retired. They have a lot of statues outside. Do they? I'm guessing they feel pressure and they will give him the retired number. They'll give him a statue at some point. 8 seasons and championship.
No statue. There's no statue coming.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. There's no statue coming outside of Staples for LeBron. I will think they will retire the number some way, somehow, because it's a legacy thing. LeBron's going to, in a lot of eyes, is going to be one of the best players, if not the best player of all time. And you as a franchise want to be like, hey, yeah, we had that guy in our jersey for quite a while. Here's the jersey up in the rafters to show proof of that.
Well, I'll say this. As a Chicago White Sox fan, Ken Griffey Jr. did play for a minute for the Chicago White Sox. That's not something I celebrate, though. And he's my favorite player that I've ever watched play baseball. I'm a Griffey guy. That was my guy. I don't know. I think it may also be a generational thing, right? If you're a younger Laker fan, this is all you know. You weren't around for the Kobe years. You weren't around for the Shaq years. You obviously weren't around for the Showtime Lakers in the 80s.
Sure. Ken Griffey, all-timer, Hall of Famer, first ballot.
Hands down.
He's still not on the tier of LeBron James when we're talking about where we're at in their specific sport. Like, Ken Griffey is even a cultural icon. The shoes, the video games, the swing, all of it. He's still not on that LeBron level. LeBron is one of maybe 3-4 guys. Yeah. So you throw his jersey in the rafters because, like, yeah, LeBron was here. Don't forget about that. And when you bring your kids and he says, "Who is LeBron? LeBron James." We have a little explanation we could give you.
Yeah, exactly. I do think what's the way my mind went with that thought is what about likability? Because I do think LeBron James is a player that creates a divide between people that like him, people that think he's kind of lame, want to make fun of him, think it's kind of strange that he's like very obsessed with being called the best player ever when the true best player ever is someone who's like open to the idea of that there could be other great players. Like Michael Jordan has openly said that, like, yeah, every generation has their own. And like, if we were playing, like, Jordan would want to kick his ass, but like, it's very weird to me how obsessed LeBron is with getting people to tell him how great he is when, like, Jordan didn't need that. Jordan just proved it. And Jordan was just cool. It was
understood.
And like Jordan just had like cachet and like the charisma where, like, I think sometimes LeBron comes across as a tryhard. And that's how he's been his entire career, whether you like that or you don't.
I have no notes. Nothing to say.
I mean, you work for NBA TV, so like I love throwing some of my NBA ideas out at you because like it's one of those things where like it's how I feel, And then it's like, I wonder if other people feel that way because, you know, I don't have any problem with LeBron being one of the, you know, 5 greatest players of all time. If you want to go into the argument of like, look at all the counting stats, then sure, okay. Then he and Kareem are the 2 best ever. Like, I think a lot of this has context, right? Like, you have to look at the fact that LeBron played 8 seasons in LA. Jordan played 13 seasons essentially total.
Yeah.
So, like, what are we comparing when we do these comparisons, right? Like, you also have to live through the moment or go back and watch the games. And I think for hot take culture, it doesn't help a take to say, hold up, I got to go watch the 1992 NBA Finals to see what Jordan did to then curate my opinion that LeBron James is the greatest ever type of thing. So I think it's a fun conversation because every generation has their best. And you're right. LeBron is at a level of fame and like just people knowing who he is that very few athletes get to that spot, right? One name. He's been in the conversation for over 20 years. And we're talking about a career that started when he was 18. It was like 22 years ago. You know, we're talking about where he's in the limelight. And the other thing to go with the LeBron conversation as we kind of sit and wait to see where he ends up in free agency, as he tells the Lakers today that he is not returning, but he plans on playing and free agency starts at 6 Eastern. You do have to give credit to this. LeBron James has never had something that was like a bad issue off the court in his entire career. Like I will make fun of him for not being genuine or for being a tryhard, but he's never gotten in trouble.
Not
like
as much as a speeding ticket.
Yeah, right.
Not even like him on the 405 in LA in the Lamborghini. Like, yeah, sorry,
exactly.
I was going 110.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like
we lost, and I opened it up. I opened up the Lambo on the 405, and I was going 120. Sorry about that. Not even that.
Right. Like so you got to give him credit for that. He's gone 22 years of a clean record of being in the public eye, where though the worst that you can say about him is he's a tryhard. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, absolutely nothing throughout his entire career. Family, friends, never heard a bad thing about him.
No.
Essentially.
And we'll see where he lands here in free agency as it starts tonight. Sean Little is in for Abdalla. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. And like looking at the context of the NBA, there are very few teams that can go after him that will pique his interest. I do think, you know, what's interesting about the report from Cleveland is that I don't think he and Dan Gilbert get along. I don't think that that's like the best of relationships, but if you're Cleveland, you're willing to swallow that pill if you get the retirement tour of LeBron James to end his career in a Cavs jersey, right?
Well, I think there was a time where the Dan Gilbert-LeBron James relationship was very bad. And I think LeBron being willing to come back after the Miami phase was water under the bridge. It was done. They were okay. Dan Gilbert, unfortunately, dealing with a lot of health issues as well. I don't think that would be a speed bump for LeBron going back to Cleveland. I think they are over that portion, and he would have no problem. He was the bigger man in that situation for me because after the things Dan Gilbert said when he went to Miami, I never, ever would have came back. And LeBron, actually, kudos to him for putting the Cleveland fans first, his hometown first, and trying to come back and get them a ring, and he was able to get that done. So I don't think the Gilbert situation would be part of it. It's more of, does he want to go home right now and live that lifestyle? Yeah,
and honestly, if I were LeBron, and no offense to those in the great state of Ohio, I don't want to move to Cleveland.
I am Ohio.
Right?
You have to like Illinois, Indiana, LeBron. It would have to what am I going to do in Ohio?
Right. When you've been living in Beverly Hills for the last 8 years, I'm guessing that's the lifestyle he's accustomed to.
Jokes aside, that's a big part of all this.
Yeah. Oh, no,
there's
no doubt.
Only a handful of cities that he would even entertain going to live, I believe.
Yeah. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. You can call the show at 310-840-4910. Ray in Chicago, you're on with Chris and Sean. What's up?
Hey, how you guys doing? Sean, love it when you're on the show. You do a great job. Just wanted to say that.
Much love, brother. Thank you.
Chris, my guy, listen, you always throw me off because I'll be on hold and then you talk about other stuff. I'm going to stick to my guns here. Two things. You guys were talking earlier about the NBA, the dude that wrote the report about guys in there who's playing the most minutes in the playoffs.
Yeah. Yep.
My buddies and I, we've been stuck in this, fantasy basketball league for almost 18 years now. And we found out 7 years ago in the NBA, strictly the NBA, this is there are some outliers. A player, go look all the way back throughout history. The peak performance year happens between age 27 and 29. Peak production. It doesn't matter who they are. There are some outliers of guys that still play well, but that's it. After that, they start to decline. So the whole that applies to the whole Giannis thing that you were talking about last week and this week. Secondly, I hate LeBron. Never been a fan of his. Yes, he's a great player. I kind of want to see all these old guys play together because it reminds me when I used to still play ball, and me and my buddies when we're in our 30s and you're at the park and you want these young bucks come out and can we beat them, and you beat them a game or two and they want to play again. You're like, no, we're good. So I want to see the old man moves, the Brad Miller moves that they're doing in the post and everything they can do within the rules, and I think that would be cool. I'd actually root for the old guys. So I'll let you guys go. You guys have a great day. Thanks.
Thank you, Ray. Appreciate the phone call. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. You can call or text the show at 310-840-4910. We will have power rankings with Raj coming up next as we look at the Western Conference, how it's shaping up with free agency in the NBA. So we'll do that coming up next. The second round of international soccer is now, and DraftKings has you covered for every single match. The DraftKings app is now available in all 50 states and includes all markets, bringing the game straight to your fingertips wherever you are. New DraftKings customers sign up with code BNA26 and spend $5 to get $200 in rewards within 21 days. That's code BNA26 for Bleck and Abdalla 26. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Bet with DK Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, bet tax pass through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus, void in Canada. Event contract trading with DraftKings. Predictions involve risks of loss. Availability varies. Bet to get bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Trade to get $50 in prediction dollars that expire in 1 year. Issued every 7 days via click to claim for 21 days. One non-withdrawable reward redeemable. Predictions offer void in New York. Ends July 19th. Terms at dkng.co/audio.
What's hotter than your car in the summer heat? Our summer sports takes and updates that you care about. From NFL training camp to the baseball trade deadline, we've got you covered like your windshield sunshade. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Is in for Abdalla today. Raj Sharon and Roy Lee produce the show each and every day, and Roy is in Southern California. He's in Culver City each and every day. He's a long-suffering Laker fan, and he just said to me moments ago, today's a good day. As LeBron James is moving on. Today is a good day for the Laker Nation. It's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. On a Tuesday, it's now time to go to Power Rankings with Raj. That's right.
The next question comes from the line of Raj Sharan with Westwood One. Please proceed.
Please proceed, Raj. In parts unknown Colorado, Power Rankings on a Tuesday. What's up, Raj?
What's up, guys? All right, last week in Power Rankings, we did the Eastern Conference. There was a lot of news coming out of the East a week ago. So this week, we look at the Western Conference, where we have certainly had a lot of news over the last day or so between LeBron and Kawhi, et cetera, et cetera. We've had re-signings all over the place. So we're going to take a look at the West, guys. All right, if you're new to Power Rankings, it's not a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got specific categories like your favorite meme that you see online. And we're going to start off with maybe rethink this plan. Maybe rethink this plan. Sean, what Western Conference team or teams would you put into that category? Maybe rethink this plan.
The funniest thing is this Golden State Warriors logo just popped right in my head, but I actually liked the plan, but I just thought that was funny. The Portland Trailblazers maybe rethink this entire plan of even selling the team to the guy you sold it to. That looks like it may be a disaster. He's potentially thinking about moving the club. They now have 5 point guards on the roster. They are one of the only teams from the people that I've talked to across the league after I heard about Ja going there, that Ja has any juice left and can be a difference maker. Time Lord, they just extended. He has lower body injuries that he's still working through, and there's a lot of question marks over there. Dame Lillard is back in the fold, but can he still make an impact? Scoot Henderson shows up and plays really well, and now you undermine him by bringing in a guy that's going the other direction. Scoot's going trajectories. Scoot stock up, Ja stock down, but now Ja is the number 1 PG, and the guy that was trending up is now number 2. A lot of question marks in Portland. I would rethink that one.
Yeah, Raj, when I'm looking at my power rankings of teams that need to rethink this, here's the list. I've got 3 teams. I agree with what Sean was saying with Portland. They should be in the mix. Absolutely. And how about this? I've never seen this before. Owner purchases a team and then tries to get a new stadium pass and says, if the taxpayers don't pay for a new stadium, then I'm going to move. Wow, I've never seen that play before from an owner. Cool. Thanks, pal. Thanks for participating. So Portland's in the list. I'm going to say the Timberwolves. I don't get the plan of LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards. I get it. They were drafted in the same class together. They're both under they're both under 25. They're both young players. But to me, I don't think that that's an upgrade from what the Timberwolves were in the playoffs. Losing Naz Reid, losing Julius Randle, and bringing back LaMelo Ball, to me, doesn't get it done. And then I would also add in the Houston Rockets. It might be time to rethink their plan of the way that they structured that team around Kevin Durant. So those are the 3 teams that I have, and maybe rethink this plan.
All right, guys, next up on our Western Conference power rankings, stay the course. Stay the course. Who you putting in that group, Bleck?
Okay, to me, this is very easy. And actually, yeah, it's easy. And it's the Thunder, the Spurs, stay the plan. You have one team that's won a championship, one team that got to the finals. Don't do anything crazy here in the offseason. Don't blow up your team to go chase Jaylen Brown or to, if when he was available, Giannis or whatever the example is of the player that was disgruntled and wants to go elsewhere. So I would go Thunder, Spurs, and I would actually throw the Dallas Mavericks into the group of just stay the plan, stay the course, because you have young players, you're building towards something in the future. You have Cooper Flag. I like what Dallas has kind of done in the last 12 months. So I'm going to say San Antonio, Oklahoma City, and Dallas, stay the course.
Well, I'll tell you what, that OKC tax bill is looking pretty high there, Bleck. They're not trying to break that thing up. They're willing to
your
pay
dollar
it.
goes farther in Oklahoma.
The dollar does go a little farther. Why do you think Warren Buffett's lived in Omaha
longer.
forever?
Exactly.
He knows how the economy works. All right, what do you say, Sean?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what Bleck laid out. I will play a little devil's advocate on the Thunder. Stay the course, San Antonio Spurs, because what's going on, like their trajectory looks amazing. Dylan Harper, Wemby, everything looks very good. They keep Champagnie for a relatively cheap deal, $44 million over a handful of years. I think that's a great deal for them. He was a big part of that. But the Oklahoma City Thunder have a Chet Holmgren problem. I think it's very glaring. I think it's obvious. He is supposed to be the number 2 on that team overall, defense and offensive side. Yeah. I know J-Dub is the guy as well. All-NBA, All-Star. He was hurt this season. That's a big reason why it's stay the course. Get J-Dub, Jalen Williams back fully healthy. A.J. Mitchell is now a big part of their offense and usage. Get him back healthy. He wasn't a part of that Western Conference Finals against the Spurs. But the one thing I don't think they could just stay the course is this Chet Holmgren piece. I think he was exposed. I don't think the weaknesses are getting better. And I don't think the Spurs and Victor Wembanyama are going anywhere. They need to figure out a way. I'm not saying trade him. I'm not saying move him. But he's going to have to improve some parts of his game, whether that be physicality, whether that's getting in the weight room, whether it's shooting the ball better, to where he could deal with the pressure that Victor Wembanyama is going to put on him on an annual basis. I tweeted before the Western Conference Finals, this is going to be the roughest 10 days maybe of Chet Holmgren's entire life. And it was worse than I expected. He was awful in that series. So
he was.
that course, the Chet Holmgren course for the Thunder, may need to be reviewed.
Well, if they trade Chet Holmgren, we're not going to get any more AT&T commercials with he and Shea and J-Dub getting dressed, and Bleck is going to just really miss those.
Because America cares that they all wore the same outfit. Cool.
I should have talked about the Denver Nuggets a little bit as well. That's another good one.
An interesting one.
With Aaron Gordon is healthy, but the Christian Brown deal doesn't look very good, and it doesn't start till next season. They're in an issue where they're asking tons of Jokic, and he's not going to be able to get through these teams in the West by himself.
All right, guys. Next up in our Western Conference power rankings, you need to do something. You need to do something. Who you put in that group, Sean?
I go back to the Denver Nuggets. You have to take advantage of these guys that are mega superstars. You could go across the entire league and reluctantly say who's the best player in the league. They would look at you and say, probably the big Serbian guy in Denver. He's insane.
Yeah.
And he got injured this year, was on pace to have the best offensive season of his career in a group of insane offensive performances over 82 games. They need to figure out a way to get them some help and compete. Aaron Gordon needs to stay healthy. They need to figure that out. Losing KCP a few years back really hurt them. He was great for them. Bruce Brown, they brought back. He didn't have the impact he once had when he was there the first time. The Christian Brown contract is going to be an issue. He's making tons of money now, and he's not producing like he's going to need to be. The Denver Nuggets need to do something. Shake him up, wake him up, go make some noise. Maybe that's going to get Kuminga. Maybe he could impact and do a few things. There's a couple guys, free agent-wise, I think they can add, but try something. They're just continuing to spin the wheels because that's what happens when you win a title, Bleck.
Yeah.
Just like, hey.
You're content.
Or
you think that they'll find that magic again.
Just spin the wheels. And it's one of those things, too, like New York Knicks need to get better.
Don't tell Raj to go do something because he might just go to the Nuggets facility and
knock on the door.
Try and accomplish something. He's going to hit send on the trade of Jamal Murray to Boston. I think that's what Raj is going to do. All right, Raj. They need to do something. I'll go with the Nuggets. I think that's a good idea there from Sean. I would also say the Rockets are on my list because I just don't see the way that they're constructed as being a team that's actually going to win a championship or get close to winning a championship in the Western Conference. And the other team, I know that right now we are all kind of waiting and thinking something's going to happen, but it's Golden State. The Warriors need to do something. And whether it is LeBron James or if they land LeBron James, adding other pieces around LeBron James and Steph Curry and Draymond Green, the Warriors need to do something. They were 10th last year in the conference. I know that Jimmy Butler was injured for a good portion of the season, but the Warriors have dealt with injuries, it seems like every single year, and that's why they don't live up to their potential. So I'm going to say Golden State a part of that as well.
All right, guys, next up on our Western Conference Power Rankings categories, trending up. Who's trending up, Bleck?
I actually think the leader for this group for me, it's the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm going to put the Lakers as trending up because
Today's a good day for Luka, right? Today's a good day for Luka Doncic.
I also think it's a good day for the organization because you no longer have to cater to LeBron and his ego. And so you can now build out the team around Luka and around Austin Reeves. And it's a fresh start. Yeah, and Bronny. Yes, and Bronny. Come on. I mean, is there anything funnier than Bronny picking up?
Getting his option picked up earlier?
He gets his option picked up.
$3.2 million.
And then today, LeBron saying, I'm out. So you're stuck with the kid? What the hell?
Well, like, that just shows you who's pulling the strings. Like, seriously.
It is. I mean, it's like you make a big stink to get your son on the travel team, and then you move towns. And then the kid's stuck on the team. Like what? So, but I do think it's a good day for the Lakers because now they can build the team around Luka, and it's Luka's team. So they move forward. They don't have to worry about massaging the ego of LeBron James. Yeah, I think it's a good day. So I'm going to put trending up. I'm going to put the Lakers in that category. Obviously, I still give great respect to the Thunder and the Spurs in the conference. They're the two best teams in the conference, so I think they're still trending up. I also kind of like what the Clippers have done here in the offseason. Wagler drafted 5th overall. I think that's going to work. It sounds like they're going to move Kawhi Leonard. I kind of like what the Clippers are doing to like reset everything in Los Angeles. So those are my teams trending up.
I'm going to go with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, the reason I say that is because they didn't waste time moving off of Julius Randle when they feel like it's not working. Maybe we end up losing that trade. Everything everything we received for Cat essentially is only thing left is Dante DiVincenzo, who's now coming off an Achilles. So you didn't waste any time there. Hey, maybe we lost that trade. Let's move off of Julius Randle. Let's go get a point guard that we've been yearning for quite a while. The guy that can just handle the ball and orchestrate the offense and feed Ant-Man. And they're not done. They're going to make a couple more deals. But overall, I think LaMelo is a really, really good player, and I think him and Ant-Man are going to work. So Gobert's still there. They still have the defensive anchor. They're going to have to fill out the bench and figure out how they're going to fill that Naz Reid love. He was very loved out there in Minnesota. But I would say these are positive moves for Minnesota.
All right, guys, and our final power ranking category today amongst Western Conference teams is, what
are you doing? What's going on?
What are you doing?
What are you doing? All right, I'll take this.
What are you doing?
Portland, what are you doing trading for Ja Morant? What the hell are you doing there? I don't get it. Also, the fact that we have yet to hear major trade rumors around Zion Williamson in this offseason, I would say, New Orleans, what are you doing? What is the goal for that team?
Yeah,
I don't get it.
That's a good one.
So those are the two I'm going to go with, Portland and New Orleans.
I don't even like to say this team's name because why? But Sacramento Kings. It's like, what is going on here? Just pack up the franchise.
I read something yesterday.
But we like their draft, though, right, Bleck? We liked their draft.
I do like
the Kings.
I think the dude's going to be a star. But did you guys see the story that Jalen Duren wants to play for the Sacramento Kings? Did you see that story that was reported? I think The Athletic said that he wants to be a King. What free agent in the last 20 years has been on the record to say, I want to be a Sacramento King?
That makes sense to me because the performance I saw from Jalen Duren in the playoffs was absolutely despicable. So maybe you just want to go out to Sacramento and play where nobody sees, and you can just make a ton of money and take a ton of shots, and nobody bothers you, and you just kind of fade into the distance. That's the only explanation for that.
Win a couple games, light the beam. Come on.
Sure, yes, light the beam. That's a cool thing that they have there. I will say this. I know this program airs in the Northern California area and in the Sacramento area, but what was it? Phil Jackson called Sacramento a cow town. Remember back when the rivalry was hot and heavy between the Kings and the Lakers?
Bobby Jackson and those guys.
I'm pretty sure Phil Jackson called it a cow town back in the day. So you're right. Maybe he wants to be out there, have no scrutiny, have no one talk about him ever.
Don't worry about it. Just go and do what you got to do.
That's outstanding.
I want to go to Sacramento.
That's great.
That does it for Power Rankings. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Raj. We appreciate it. Power Rankings, sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Save on commercial auto insurance from Progressive. Get a fast quote at progressivecommercial.com. Yeah, Sacramento, Cowtown. I mean, listen, we have great listeners in the Sacramento area. So I'm not throwing shade at you. You support your team. When the Kings are good, that place is rocking. And the light the beam the last couple of years has been really cool. I think Acuff is going to be a star in the NBA. So he's going to be the one that gets you back to the playoffs eventually. So everything's looking up. But I've never heard a free agent say, and the reports come out saying that said free agent wants to go to the Kings. I just haven't seen it.
It's not a headline you read very often.
Right, no. Sean Little is in for Abdalla today. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. We have an update on the Diana Rossini story that has swept the NFL offseason, and that's coming up next.
U.S. men's national team has wrapped up group play. Up next, the round of 32 on Wednesday. How far can they go? Let's find out. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Sean Little filling in for Abdalla today. It's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. So one of the big stories in the NFL that we have followed here in the offseason is the back and forth between Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel. Yes, it's a never-ending story. Yep.
Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini.
Well, I think for the most part, Sean, the latest updates is I don't think that they are interlocking their fingers anymore on top of roofs in Sedona, in Arizona. It doesn't seem that there's been any new hot and heavy photos of them out in public.
Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini.
But we do have this, which is interesting. So last week, there was a report put out by The Athletic in the New York Times talking about their investigation into Diana Rossini and her journalistic integrity, which essentially didn't give any information. It's kind of weird. Like, there's nothing new and nothing actually, it felt very like they just were looking for people to click the story and there was no substance out of it.
Sounds like you read it.
And I do want to, for the record, say that the Bleck and Abdalla show supports Diana Rossini. I think she's great. I think she's fantastic on television. She's a great reporter. And I'm not hiring her to work for my publication, so like I can have that opinion, right? The New York Times and The Athletic may feel differently. I think the only thing that was taken out of that story that people made a big deal about was that how much money she was making, which if you're not
$700K.
Yeah, and if you're not familiar with how much money people on TV in those spots are making, then maybe that's news to you. But I don't know. I'm not that surprised that someone that's been featured on television for a long time is making almost $1 million a year. That's not that surprising to me. So here's the latest. The update on Rossini is that the Center Square obtained and published body cam footage from Diana Rossini, a January traffic stop. And this is notable based on what was said to the officer in the traffic stop. So here's the audio of Rossini getting pulled over.
Right, pull me over.
Yeah. Officer Bernal, would you please be recording my body camera? Can I just get your driver's license, registration, proof of insurance, please?
Put me with control.
Yeah.
So, you're not going to care. I'm an NFL reporter, and I just broke that Sean McDermott got fired from the Bills, and that is what I was just sending a tweet. I was going to pull over because I have to make calls.
Okay.
I know you don't care, but I'm just letting you know my reason why.
Okay.
It was a work thing, and it was an emergency.
All right, so there's Rossini explaining why. It passes don't you think most people would explain why when they first get pulled over? Like, I get she's trying to like gently suggest like, hey, I'm somewhat of importance here.
Sure.
Let me off on this. Like, don't write me a ticket, Mr. Police Officer. All right, so here's the rest of the video as she tries to get out of the ticket.
So,
What is your team?
I'm a Vikings fan, unfortunately. Let's say it.
She's showing him her phone.
Can you see the name?
Oh my God. Can you see?
See what I said? Look what I said to him though just now. Go to the bottom.
Oh my God. Wow. Pretty cool.
Dude, I love the Vikings. They're awesome. KFC's awesome.
Yeah. He seemed like a
Your
dude.
quarterback sucks though.
Yeah. So we gotta get him. He's gotta fix it. He's gotta turn it around or someone else is gonna get him.
It's one thing I can't agree.
There it is.
We're aligned there. That's for sure.
So if it wasn't clear in the video, she is showing him text messages with Kevin O'Connell, head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. Now, remember, this traffic, would you say stop? Yeah, it's not necessarily an incident. Stop.
Yeah.
Traffic stop took place on January 19th, the same day that Sean McDermott was fired from the Buffalo Bills. And that's the story that she was breaking in that moment when she was pulled over. And she's showing text messages to the police officer from KOC, Kevin O'Connell, head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, talking about how J.J. McCarthy is trash, which, A, is hilarious because I agree with KOC. Your quarterback is trash, and I agree with Rossini. He is trash, right? Like, J.J. McCarthy can't play. So what do we think about that part, right? The first part, like, I get it, right? Like, you're working, you're trying to get out of a ticket. Now she's showing the police officer her conversations with a source for
From
stories.
his favorite team.
From his favorite team, which if you start to connect the dots, and that's something people have done, is that when she was reporting on the interest of a possible Aaron Rodgers to the Vikings earlier in the offseason, that clearly Kevin O'Connell seemed to be the source for said information she was getting. Which goes into the whole longer conversation about sourced material that she got from Mike Vrabel, right?
Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini.
So I don't know. I don't know. Like, are people upset? Are they outraged? I think it's kind of just funny to hear the stuff behind, like, what she's showing to people and who her sources are.
Diana Rossini was really good at her job.
She was great.
She did whatever she needed to do to get whatever information was necessary.
Yeah.
To report to the people of the NFL and the Athletic and the New York Times. She was very good at her job, by any means necessary. The slow drip of all this stuff coming out
It's wild,
is
man.
insane.
It's wild.
Like, personally, for me, that stop, she did absolutely nothing wrong.
Yeah,
She's trying to get out of the ticket. Hey, listen.
I feel like most people would do that.
This is actually what I was doing. Like, who's your team? Let me flex a little bit. Maybe this will make you feel special.
Yeah.
And I'll FaceTime Kevin O'Connell right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you do anything to get out of a ticket. Now, you probably have a couple extra dollars, but
yeah,
you got to try to get out.
We'll talk about that and also the latest with LeBron next.
This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
That's right, Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app, Sirius XM Channel 375, and all of our great radio affiliates around the country. I'm Chris Bleck, along with Sean Little, hanging out with you. He's in for Abdalla this week, as we're on the air until 3 Eastern, and then we'll hand it off to Jim Rome right here on Westwood One Sports. You can call or text the show at 310-840-4910. And Sean, we kicked off the show at noon Eastern talking about the breaking news in the NBA. LeBron James has told the Los Angeles Lakers that it's time for them to move on and that he will be playing elsewhere. That Shams Charania, this is the exact tweet that he posted about an hour and a half ago. It was, LeBron James will continue his NBA career in 2026-27 and has informed the Los Angeles Lakers that the franchise can move on without him because he will play elsewhere. Clutch Sports, Rich Paul tells ESPN. So, that's the way the news is made these days. And it's just funny that LeBron is telling the Lakers, it's time for you to move on because I'm going elsewhere. And not a news story saying that he's signing with somewhere else. So that is the story at this moment. LeBron James will not play for the Lakers next season. They get a fresh start. They can move on from LeBron James. And now LeBron will have teams looking to kind of bring him in. Let's take a listen. This is Shams Charania on the possible suitors that LeBron could have here in free agency.
Around the league, teams expect the Warriors, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Miami Heat, all to emerge as among some of the suitors for LeBron James. Of course, you never know who could come out of the woodworks, who else could come aboard and pitch LeBron James on a vision to join a team and compete and be happy in his 24th NBA season.
So that's Shams on ESPN. So there you go. You have the Golden State Warriors, the Miami Heat, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and then maybe a mystery team, maybe other. LeBron James, free agent, and free agency starts tonight, 6 Eastern in the NBA.
There's no mystery team for me. I think it has to be one of those three. There's no other place to go, no other city he'd want to live in. They all have very clear connections to why he would go to said place. Miami doesn't make sense to me because if you're the Heat and you just added Giannis, why stack another layer of complication onto that situation? You don't need to do that. Figure out how to bring Norm Powell back on a reasonable deal. That's way more appealing to me than adding LeBron James and the hoopla that's going to come with it. Cleveland, he's already done that.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished. He doesn't need to do that. You know who is keen on a bunch of hoopla and a bunch of attention and a bunch of fun? The Golden State Warriors. It seems like the place. Draymond's already opted. This is one of those things where the guys are laughing at all us on the outside because it's almost like this is already done.
Yeah.
They're just trying to figure out the paperwork and the nuance and not get a tampering penalty come 6 p.m. Eastern.
Well, it's it's going back to that Olympic run that those players who came together originally in Miami with Wade, Bosh, and LeBron, they all talked about it when they were on the Olympic team, that they all wanted to team up in free agency in the summer of 2010, which seems like a lifetime ago. But, that's what it is. And it's also, you could also talk about the banana boat trip that they took where they're out there and they're trying to convince Carmelo Anthony to be a part of it and then all the movement there. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure the behind-the-scenes conversations, have already lined up. Now, ESPN is also reporting that Golden State has not been told that, LeBron is heading there. Anthony Slater for ESPN posted this an hour ago saying the Warriors' decision makers have been given no indication at this hour that they are the firm LeBron James landing spot per sources. There's a belief that they'll have plenty of appeal, but it appears that there will be some level of recruitment required for LeBron James. So, I mean,
well, listen,
I think that's out there, but I agree with your assessment of it where I'm guessing Draymond and LeBron, Rich Paul, and Steph Curry, I'm guessing they all have had communication, and Jimmy Butler. And then you get to play the game like who was left out of the group chat. Because if someone's on the outside of the group chat, then that means that player is going to be the player that the star players go to management and say, well, you got to move Jimmy Butler because LeBron wants to play here and we need that cap space for LeBron because he wants a full max, right?
This is where we're getting it twisted. Slater says the Golden State decision makers. The decision makers, Steph Curry and LeBron James.
Right.
Those are the decision makers.
Sorry, Mike Dunleavy, you're not included in this conversation.
You're not a decision maker here on this. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to break it to you, but Steph and LeBron and Draymond would be making this call. And what we mean by that, or what I mean by that, is they're going to be able to figure out and make the numbers work and then present it to the Golden State Warriors, and that's going to be the best option available. So Slater's saying Golden State Warriors decision makers haven't heard yet. It's because, like Bleck said, you're not in the text message group thread. That's why you don't know about this yet. We'll let you guys know come 6 o'clock what my terms will be and where to sign.
and what Draymond wants as well, right? Do you think Rich Paul goes to the Warriors with both, right? Like saying, hey, LeBron wants to join, but this is the contract I need for LeBron. And, by the way, Draymond's going to need that $27 million that he turned down yesterday.
Yeah.
Draymond's going to need that paper, too. I'm going to need about, if you can get me 60 for the two of them. I think that's going to work. Can we get that done?
You guys already have Draymond's routing and account information. I'll get you guys LeBron's. It's no problem. He's a Chase guy.
Yeah,
So we're in San Francisco.
Yeah,
we play at the Chase Arena now.
Make it all work.
We'll get you guys the numbers needed.
We'll sign later. We'll just let you know. So, free agency starts tonight, 6 Eastern in the NBA. And clearly, LeBron James is the biggest story today. It's one of those things. We've played this game of chicken with LeBron before. He holds all of our attention hostage each and every summer. Will he be a free agent? Won't he be a free agent? It's what life with LeBron is when he signs 1-and-1 deals, right? He's in for one, and then he can opt out for the second year. And we've done this dance for like the last 10 years. That's what it's felt like, Sean. It's felt like we've continuously had to have the LeBron James free agent watch.
Who is he?
LeBron James.
Will he build another super team?
Gotta start with Superman. Man, I could have used him on the Cavs.
How many weeks will he stretch this?
Not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5.
LeBron Watch 2026 with Bleck and Abdalla.
The answer to the question everybody wants to know. LeBron, what's your decision?
In this fall, I'm going to take my talents.
Yes. Could it be Golden State? Could it be Miami? Could it be Cleveland? Say he does go to Golden State. Where do the Warriors even stack up in the Western Conference if they add LeBron James? This is a team that finished 10th in the conference last season. Jimmy Butler was injured. Is Butler back on this team? Do you say you're going to move Jimmy Butler if LeBron agrees to join? I don't know. It sounds like the pipe dream yesterday of landing Anthony Davis and LeBron is kind of out the window ever since they signed Kristaps Porzingis last night. So when we look at the conference, OKC, San Antonio, 1 and 2, whichever order you want to go in, I'm fine with that. I would probably put San Antonio 1, OKC 2, but one team has a championship, the other doesn't. So whichever way you want to chop that up, you can. There's no problem. The rest of the conference, though, I like the direction that the Lakers are now going to go in. I like what we've seen from Denver, but are the Nuggets going to pull off a move here and maybe go after Jaylen Brown? There's a lot of movement that can take place in the next week in the Western Conference. Where do the Golden State Warriors with LeBron James fit into that equation?
About right in the middle. I mean, if you think about it, let's give the folks a reminder of what actually is going on in the Western Conference. The 6th team in the West was the Minnesota Timberwolves. They won 49 games.
Yeah.
They were 49-33. It's the ringer over there in the West. So I could see Golden State winning 45 games, and depending how the rest of it shakes out, that could be a 6. I want to restate what I said earlier about this is a 50-50 fun versus play basketball, win play. If it was all about trying to win, there's a lot of different things LeBron and co could do. I really think they're like, hey, let's max out, have a ton of fun, make a ton of money, and we will try our best to win with this squad. And I think that's how they're going to present it to Lacombe and that ownership group in Golden State. Bleck pulled it out when we were in a break. The only guy under contract in 2028 on the entire Golden State Warriors roster is Moses Moody.
Yeah.
They could do this for 2 years with LeBron, Steph, if they go and get AD, as I think there's still something still there, even with Porzingis coming back into the fold. No matter what happens, who they add, I think they're looking at it like we could do a 2-year run of trying to make some noise and having a lot of fun. And if it doesn't work out, we were able to send off Steph Curry how he wanted to, and we did right by Steph Curry. I think that's worth quite a bit to the ownership group and the fans of the Golden State Warriors, because we already kind of did Klay Thompson bogus on the way out, in my opinion.
Yeah.
We'll do right by Steph.
Yeah.
We'll bring LeBron over, have some fun. If we don't make the noise and make a deep run and potentially threaten to win the conference, so be it. We start over in 2028.
Which is funny because it seems like Golden State's going to do right by Draymond, and Klay Thompson deserved better than Draymond did. And I'm not trying to say that Draymond wasn't an important piece of that dynasty run that the Warriors had. But Klay Thompson and Steph Curry were that's the engine to why the Golden State Warriors were able to accomplish what they accomplished for so long. And so, yeah, you're right. And just looking at the numbers, so with Porzingis, he signed a 3-year deal? 3-year extension, I thought?
2-year, 44.
Okay, so Porzingis will be there now. Moses Moody is under contract for $13.4 in 2028. And then it's like they have Santos on $5 million and like Richard for like $2 million. So then neither of those really matter as far as team building goes. So you have like all of your open cap space is off the books for 2028. So you're right. Sean's right. Like they could run it for, 2 years, see how it goes, and then they all retire. And, Steph Curry, is he going to play beyond 40? He's 38. I don't know about that. I would also say this, like, when you look at dynasties in the NBA, they never end in a fashion that is great. They all end one way or another, either through injury, personalities clashing, something takes, but like you don't get the ride off into the sunset with a championship to end a dynasty run.
They typically crumble.
They crumble. And so like the end is usually ugly. And if that end is a bunch of guys with gray in their beards trying to run it together at the YMCA for one last run, then I guess that's the way that the Warriors are going to go. I think loading up on all these stars who are maybe not what they used to be, I don't see it as like a great vision for the Golden State Warriors, even though, as Sean says, they can get out of it in 2 years. It just it delays 2 more years pushing the franchise forward.
They would never admit this, LeBron included, would never say this out loud to anyone, maybe outside of his very small inner circle. Part of me believes he knows he can't beat San Antonio and Oklahoma City on the way to winning the West. And then I have to go beat the Knicks or potentially Boston or potentially whoever else is on the East side. Like, I'm going to go have some fun and play with Steph in San Francisco and make a lot of money. He would never say that out loud, but I truly believe that's crossed his mind of, man, I'm not sure I could get through these guys.
Oh, I don't blame that thought process because I think the Thunder and the Spurs are that much better than everyone else in the Western Conference. So no matter how you take the pieces of the puzzle to kind of construct a super team in Golden State, it ain't going to work. I'm confident here on June 30th saying that the Warriors are not going to beat the Thunder or the Spurs in the playoffs. Barring injury, right? We always have to say that context, but like no matter how many stars you collect in the Bay, you're not going to be better than what Wemby is putting together in San Antonio or what Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has at Oklahoma City. You're just not. And that's the reality of living in the Western Conference. And I think the other storyline to kind of look at is congratulations to the Los Angeles Lakers. You get to move off of the drama, the behind-the-scenes, ego, shoulder massaging of LeBron James that you've had now for the last 8 seasons. And as a Laker fan, and you look at this team and you look at the way it's gone for the last 8 years with LeBron James, was it worth it? Did you enjoy LeBron as a Laker? I'm guessing most Laker fans didn't really enjoy LeBron as a Laker because, like, he essentially chose to go to the Lakers for a lot of reasons that didn't have anything to do with trying to be a great Laker. And it is the one franchise in sports where it's like you are a legend for being a great Laker. And there are so many of them, Hall of Famers, championships won, and the way the city embraces that team when they're great, it's unlike anything else in the country. And so, LeBron James will no longer be at the Lakers. He played 8 seasons in LA, which is also something that to look at is just wild to see that he only played 4 in Miami. He played 8 seasons in LA. And now
4
he's
in Miami
leaving.
is crazy.
Right, isn't
Seems
it?
like it was a lot longer than that, but it was an awesome stretch. So
yeah, it was. So if you're the Lakers today, now you get to build your team around Luka. So congratulations. You don't have to deal with the the king anymore. LeBron James is moving on. He told you it's time that you can move on. I mean, did you ever pull that move when you were dating? Did you ever tell the...
We're not breaking up, but you can go ahead and take off.
Please, by all means, if you can find someone else, like, I'm good. I'll handle it. I think I did do that once. I think I did. I did say that.
Just do what's best for you.
Yeah, I think I did say, like, can't you find something better? I'm okay. Like, I'll figure it out.
I got this other thing I just started talking to last year. He's one of the best in the league as well. I don't know, man. Maybe you could just anywhere else you could go.
Yeah, just move along. Like, we can end this, right? We don't need to do this anymore.
We could amicably split.
I don't like you. You don't like me. What is this charade? Oh, this is great. Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Sean Little filling in for Abdalla this week as we hang out with you. And we count down the days of the summer as the NFL season will be here before we know it. And as we do that, we count down with the summer of football. Today, we will look at the off-season grades in the NFL. Which teams graded out with A's? Which teams didn't pass the grade this offseason in the NFL? We'll talk about that coming up next. The second round of international soccer is now, and DraftKings has you covered for every single match. The DraftKings app is now available in all 50 states and includes all markets, bringing the game straight to your fingertips wherever you are. New DraftKings customers sign up with code BNA26. Spend $5 to get $200 in rewards within 21 days. That's code BNA26 for Bleck and Abdalla 26. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Bet with DK Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, bet tax pass through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus, void in Canada. Event contract trading with DraftKings. Predictions involve risks of loss. Availability varies. Bet to get bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Trade to get $50 in prediction dollars that expire in 1 year. Issued every 7 days via click to claim for 21 days. One non-withdrawable reward redeemable. Predictions offer void in New York. Ends July 19th. Terms at dkng.co/audio.
NFL training camps open in 1 month. Yes, you're allowed to get excited.
All going through it together. Let's go.
It's almost time to pull that jersey out of the back of your closet. Here we go. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Sean Little is in for Abdalla this week. It's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. We've got our eyes on all the NFL, the NBA news taking place with free agency. And I was going to say we have our eyes on the NBA free agency news, Sean, but we're also thinking about the NFL. And as we count down the days of the summer, and today feels like one of those days throughout the country. I mean, it is hot. It feels like we finally have summer, right? Like I enjoy it. I like the hot summer temps. I know people that are probably in the South or they're in places where it's usually warm. They're probably like sick of it. I like it. I like sweating a little when I'm walking to work. I don't mind it. Probably because we live in Chicago and usually most of the time the weather stinks. So I embrace it when it is warm. But before we know it, the summer will be over and football season will be here. And throughout the summer, we like to talk football each and every day. In this segment, we call the Summer of Football.
I proclaim this the summer of football! What the hell's going on out here? We're going to be here all day, baby! I like this kind of party. Only Brett Favre could do that. I don't care what you say.
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
Just keep matriculating the ball down the field, boys.
We need a National Guard. We need as many men as you can spare because we are killing the Patriots.
The Summer of Football with Bleck and Abdalla.
I throw, you catch. It's not that hard, okay?
Summer of Football, Westwood One Sports. Your home for the NFL. Kickoff, Seahawks and Patriots, is now only 71 days away. Before the start of the NFL season here on the show, each day we feature a football segment as we count down the days to the start of the NFL season. 71 days away. Today, We go to ESPN.com. They have the off-season grades up on ESPN.com. So giving grades to every team this offseason in the NFL. There are 3 teams that get a grade of A or A-. Those teams are the Philadelphia Eagles, the Los Angeles Chargers, the Miami Dolphins. Those are the 3 teams that get an A. The Eagles are the only team with a solid A. The Chargers and the Dolphins both get an A-. But those are the only teams in the NFL that clear the benchmark of getting an A here in the offseason. Is there anything with those 3 teams that catches your eye from this list?
Mike McDaniel being the offensive coordinator of the Chargers, I think, is a very big deal. That he's up. I like Mike McDaniel's schemes. I love the motions. I loved everything he brought to Miami, especially in that first year. He made Tua look like he was a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. He's not a head coach. There's a lot of things, or maybe he wasn't, maybe down the road he will be, but right now, currently, I think he doesn't have enough stature to be a head coach, and this gives him an opportunity to go back to L.A. and focus on purely X's and O's and let Harbaugh do all that head coach stuff and talk to the media, and he could just get in the lab and focus on offense and figure out how to unlock Justin Herbert to his maximum capacity. A couple months ago, me and Bleck talked about Lamar Jackson being in Baltimore and them signing a defensive-first head coach. I personally didn't appreciate that. I would have took that as a slight if I was Lamar Jackson. We'll see how that shakes, especially after they lost his guy, Todd Monken. McDaniel's main and only objective is to unlock Justin Herbert, and I don't think he's ever had that situation since he's been in the league. We know the talent. We know the arm strength. The mobility is all there. Mike McDaniel's going to the Los Angeles Chargers is going to be special, and I think Herbert has a massive year.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I like the moves, and I think the Chargers are definitely one of those teams in the AFC that can make a case that I think Denver's the best team in that division. But just because Denver's a better team in the division doesn't mean that the Chargers won't be the first wild card team or the second wild card team in the playoffs. They certainly should be a playoff team this upcoming season. The thing that stands out to me for the 3 teams that get A's as far as the grading goes here on this list from ESPN is the Miami Dolphins getting an A-. Did ESPN see what Miami did in the offseason? I wasn't sold on the Malik Willis signing. 3 years, $67.5 million for a backup quarterback. I get it, Dolphins fans. You think that he's going to be a starter. I guess. He's a backup. Malik Willis is a backup quarterback. It is what it is. I think that the way that they should approach it is fine. If that's your guy for one season and then he'll be the backup once you draft Arch Manning this upcoming year because you had the worst record in the NFL, that makes a lot of sense. But I don't think Malik Willis is going to be the guy who's like this next star in the NFL finally getting his chance. This isn't like Tim Hasselbeck going to Seattle after being the backup in Green Bay. He's not going to have his own team and be a top-level quarterback. That's not the case. I also don't like their hiring of Jeff Hafley as their coach. Defensive-minded guy, hasn't really done a whole lot. You know, okay, he was with the Packers, and there's a connection between the new GM and the fact that Hafley was with Green Bay, but okay, an A- from the Miami Dolphins? That, to me, was surprising on the list. And I agree, Sean, with your assessment on the Chargers as far as the team that getting the A's, like, I get it. I get what the Chargers are. And also, like, the Eagles. They move away from A.J. Brown. I feel like Philly's had a good offseason, but, you know, it's like, is the sky blue? Yes. The Philadelphia Eagles always have a good offseason. Like, Howie Roseman and the Eagles always dominate in the offseason.
Draft well.
Yeah, so I'm not really that surprised that they get a high grade as far as the ESPN offseason rankings. I'm scrolling to the bottom. Who's the team with the worst number? It is Arizona. The Cardinals get a D. And they get a D because they released Kyler Murray. Well, okay. And they also point out that they didn't like the move of drafting Jeremiah Love 3rd overall. A running back 3rd overall, I would also agree is something I wouldn't do if I were running a team, but I'm also not running a team. I just think that running backs are a position that you can find value later in the draft. And when you get the chance to draft third overall, you got to get something of value that's higher than the running back position, even if the player turns out to be great. Like the way I view it is Jeremiah Love, to get the value of selecting him third overall, you essentially have to get a Hall of Fame level player who plays for your team for 12 to 15 years at running back, which I'm guessing won't be the case.
Well, clearly both of these articles cross different editors because yesterday we were talking about the weapons with no quarterback, and the Cardinals
it's
were
from
number
ESPN
9.
Too.
Yes.
You're right. These are different editors. That's
these
why.
cross two different editors' desks, and the number 9 was the Arizona Cardinals, and a big portion of that, them being the best weapons in the league, removing the quarterback position, was because of Jeremiah Love. I'm on the side of I'm never drafting a running back at the 3 slot and paying him the amount of guaranteed. Off the top of my head, don't quote me on this number. I believe with Jeremiah Love going 3 in the draft, he's due like north of $50 million guaranteed, and that was a very substantial number higher than Saquon Barkley is going to be due over his next few seasons, 3 seasons with Philadelphia with that extension. So it's a big number for a running back that is unproven, and you just need a lot more things on your NFL roster than you do a big-time running back. That's the icing on the cake. It's the final piece is Kyle Shanahan going to get a McCaffrey in a deal type situation.
Yeah, and I get it. Jeremiah, the critique and the thought has nothing to do with Jeremiah Love, the player. It has everything to do with the value of the position, and then also the contracts you give to the player beyond their first. How many running backs are getting second and third contracts with their team that drafted them? You know, we look at the best backs in football right now. Christian McCaffrey, where was he drafted? Carolina. Saquon Barkley, where was he drafted? Philadelphia. Or New York. He's now with Philadelphia. So, like, you use a running back, and then when it's time to pay a running back, you let them go. And then just draft another running back.
Right now, in the NFL, total cash on the deal, Jeremiah Love is at $35.9 million. The next guy, number 2, is Saquon Barkley. He's at $16.75 for guaranteed cash remaining on the deal. Then it goes Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, who just won the Super Bowl and got a new deal to go. Kenneth Walker just won the Super Bowl, won the Super Bowl MVP, is at the absolute peak of his market, and he is making $20 million less in cash guaranteed than Jeremiah Love. That says all you need to know about drafting a running back that just spent a ton of years in college, is a little bit on the older side of coming out of school, in Jeremiah Love.
Yeah, I mean, and that's exactly the point. So that's the article, ESPN offseason grades. They've got a grade for every single team. Not going to go through them all, but the team that got D, Arizona, and the 3 teams at the top to get A's, Philadelphia, Miami, and the LA Chargers.
Really quick, Jeremiah Love, total guaranteed. That was total cash, total guaranteed. $53 million total guaranteed for Jeremiah Love. Saquon Barkley, $36 million. Breece Hall, $29 million. Ashton Genty, another guy that went top in the draft, is at 35. Big question marks for all those guys.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. You can join the show at 310-840-4910. The news of the day, as Sean Little fills in for Abdalla, is that LeBron James has told the Los Angeles Lakers it's time to move on. That's it. That's how it was reported, is that he told them that it's time for them to move on and that he's going to play elsewhere this upcoming season. Free agency starts in the NBA at 6 Eastern, so we'll see if that takes place tonight. If when we're sitting here tomorrow at this time, we know where LeBron's going to go. And it does seem like there are 3 teams right now in the lead for perhaps landing LeBron James. It would be Golden State, Miami, or Cleveland. And we'll see if someone else jumps into the conversation as well. Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports, sponsored by Progressive Insurance, protecting your business vehicles 24/7. See if you can save at progressivecommercial.com. You can always text the show at 310-840-4910. We do have a couple of texts in regards to LeBron James. The 209 Chad in California says, as a lifelong Laker fan, he didn't want LeBron 8 years ago, doesn't want him now, thinks he's overrated. Great, yes. GOAT, hell no. Him and Bronny can blank. They could head out of town, is what he's saying. Yes, as the text message was redacted because of what he wrote. So, yes, Chad in California, his thoughts on Bronny and LeBron, they can kick rocks. So that's there. The 608 text says that the Lakers are going to miss LeBron, King James. They can't rely on Luka to stay healthy, and Reeves is inconsistent in the playoffs. LeBron was their best player from start to end last season. I'm not going to disagree with that.
It's hard to argue that.
I'm not going to disagree with that. LeBron.
And when he was called upon in the playoffs to play big minutes, more usage, more shot attempts, more ball handling, more creation, he did all those things.
Yeah, so we'll keep the text coming at 310-840-4910. Sean's in for Abdalla today as we continue to watch the LeBron James situation. Where will he sign? You know, we have the World Cup action taking place right now. I think the Ivory Coast and Norway are playing. It's a 1-1 draw at the moment in the 78th minute of that match. Yesterday, we had great matches. Are you cool? Are Americans cool with penalty kicks to finish a match to then have someone advance? We'll talk about that coming up next.
We know you're jonesing for some football just like we are. And yes, we're counting. NFL training camps begin opening in 22 days. Your home for the NFL. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
If you missed any portion of today's show, check out the podcast on Apple and on Spotify. You can always watch the show on YouTube, Bleck and Abdalla Show. Like and subscribe. Thank you to Raj and Roy for producing today's show, Bleck and Abdalla. The Jim Rome Show is coming up in 15 minutes right here on Westwood One Sports. So we have World Cup action taking place. The 84th minute between Norway and the Ivory Coast. It's 1-1 at the moment. This game has been fantastic to watch. Yesterday, Sean Little is in for Abdalla today and throughout the week right here on Westwood One Sports. Yesterday, we had great matches as well. Two of the matches, Paraguay and Germany, and then the Morocco-Netherlands game. Both games end in a penalty kick. And I think, like, as you and I think this is where it's going to be interesting because Raj is not someone who watches soccer. You and I watch soccer. So when I consume, and I'm guessing most Americans watch the World Cup, they want to question, like, why would you end a match that means something with penalty kicks when it's not the actual game that's taking place, right? Where I view it and I see it, and because I'm accustomed to watching soccer, like, it doesn't, like, I don't think twice about it. And I also have the idea that, like, last night, for example, the Netherlands and Morocco, by the time the extra time after the match was over, the extra 2 15-minute periods were played, both teams were done. That was it. They had nothing left to give. And it wasn't the match wasn't going to end. Both teams were spent. They've used all their subs. It's an endurance sport, and it was done. And so you go to PKs because you have to have a resolution to the game. You can't be like the NHL, and it's cool to watch a Stanley Cup final game that goes into the 3rd, 4th, 5th overtime sudden death situation. Like, that stuff's great. It just doesn't quite work in soccer.
After the extra time, we're at 120 minutes. That's 2 hours plus additional time that was added throughout on the pitch. Bang on from Bleck. They're exhausted. They're done. They're dust. You ever play pickup, guys? You ever been at LA Fitness and you're like, you guys want to run one more? And there's 2 possessions, and there's like 2 cherry-picked layups. I'm like, yo, I'm going home, actually.
This is done.
This is done.
No one's playing
Take
D.
We're
over.
I'm taking my shoes off, bro. This is all over.
We're over.
Like, you thought you wanted to play another game. You guys don't want to play another game. This is all over. That's exactly what extra time in PKs is. And if like it or not, it does bring high drama, and it's much must watch. So yes, I agree. I wish there was another way we could go about, deciding World Cup semifinals and even finals off the spot. But there's after 2 hours of on the field, if you can't get it done, we got to go another route.
Now, Haaland just scored a goal, an easy goal, 2-1 Norway in the 87th minute of the match that's taking place right now. So, Raj, when you consume the matches yesterday, were you okay with the penalty kicks? Did you like the penalty kicks? Do you have a problem with it?
Before I answer, I would like to lead that I resent the way that I was portrayed in this as this non-soccer
you hate
expert.
Soccer.
I was
Don't
a middle
lie to
school
the fans.
I was a middle school PE student like the rest of us who played soccer and kickball, which is probably where those sports should have stayed. But I understood. So when the World Cup of kickball goes around, I'll be an expert in that as well. As to your question of it ending in penalty kicks, I've never liked in hockey, like when a game ends. I understand the regular season, like we got to get through it. But when we get to the playoffs, like you should end the same way. So I feel the same way about soccer. Now look, as the non-soccer fan, the last thing I'm advocating for is more
soccer.
Kicking the ball around in 0-0 ties. Okay, I'm not. But all that said, like ending your country's World Cup run on penalty kicks does seem a little silly. So I've kind of turned on this through our discussion. You know what? Survival of the fittest, man. LA Fitness style. Play until the legs fall off. Let's keep going. Let's set some world records for how long these games go, and let's end it the right way. 1-0.
Well, and I would say to that point, Raj, yesterday, Germany, like if you say, hey, you were upset and it's lame that you are out of the competition because of penalty kicks, it's like exactly what Sean was saying. You had all of that time before to do something. You didn't do anything. So tough luck. Like that's
full
just
2 hours.
That's just like the in the later game, the Moroccan game. Morocco was on the front foot for the final 45 minutes of the match. So, like, the fact that they won in PKs was deserved because they earned that win. And they weren't able to score to solidify it during the actual match. But, like, they were definitely the better team than the Dutch last night. And so I'm okay with it. But I also understand that compared to most people, I probably watch more soccer than most Americans who are just picking it up and participating for the World Cup, and that's cool. And there's nothing wrong with that. And that's why it's such a great event.
P-Crib87 on the YouTube chat who says Raj is right. Also, shout out David Jackson City Sports who says kickball should be a major league sport. Shout out.
Could you participate? If kickball was a major league sport, would you try out?
God, that'd be awesome. That would be awesome.
If it was open tryouts, and I could just pull up and of course, why not?
Yeah, you could play for the Chicago Kickers.
So much fun, man.
Whatever
Back in the
it
day
is.
when they used to roll those balls out onto the gym floor, I could hear the bounce noise now.
Yeah,
can you hear the bounce noise?
Right now.
Yes.
I could feel the ball in my hand now. It was an electric factory.
There's that texture to the outside.
It was like the bottom of like grips on your shoes.
Yes, a tennis shoe.
Yeah, it was
absolutely.
It's a great
All right,
day.
so one other thing tonight with the World Cup, we have a match that is going to wrap up in probably the next 5 to 10 minutes. And right now it's Norway with the lead 2-1 over the Ivory Coast. France plays at 5 Eastern against Sweden, and then at 9 Eastern, Mexico and Ecuador face off. That match is in Mexico City. Did you guys see what took place last night in Mexico City? The Mexican supporters found out where Ecuador is staying, and they had a parade and a meetup outside the hotel last night, trying to keep the Ecuadorian players awake all night last night. You want to talk about home country advantage? The fact that Mexico is playing tonight in Mexico City against Ecuador, and the fans found the hotel out there honking their horns. They had whistles. A dude had like a drum kit outside the hotel.
You
and
can
then
see it right
the
now
video footage
on our YouTube right now at Bleck Abdalla show. You can see it right now. They're just going nuts.
And Raj, the video footage, it panned up to the hotel, and you could see people looking down from the hotel rooms,
What's
being
going
like,
on down there?
"Wait, why is this happening all hours of the night last night?" So I asked you guys, are we home field, the Americans, tomorrow, big game, Santa Clara, Bosnia, Herzegovina? Are we scouting out where the opposition is staying
Maybe
tonight?
we could send that news anchor over and she could shoot
Right?
some live shots from out in front of the hotel. They're not ready for us.
Want it like that.
Yeah, you want
You
it.
want
yeah.
it like
Think about
that.
Bosnia, I could not point out where it is on a map.
Yeah, it's okay.
Can't find
sure.
your country, but I'll find your hotel.
Yeah.
And we're
You
going to
don't
come
want
over
it.
there.
You don't want it like that.
You don't want it
You
like
don't
that.
want it like
seriously, are Americans tonight going to have a parade and honk your horns and make noise outside the Bosnia Herzegovina hotel tonight?
I hope so.
Somewhere in Santa Clara?
I won't be there, but I hope so. I hope some people get the boys together and go over there and make a ruckus and avoid the sleep. You know, with all this wellness stuff, everything is all health and wellness. All I talk about is sleep. So, yeah, maybe we're more aware that we could just go keep these guys up and then the United States just rolls them over tomorrow.
What if we tried to push them to staying near the substation? Now, that would have been next level.
You know the
Next
story
level.
with the electrical substation, the San Francisco 49ers practice facility.
I've heard the conspiracies
Yes.
of this and the injuries
You
and
need
all
to get
that.
them in a hotel.
Probably
right over
heard it
there.
from this show. There's nothing Abdalla loves more to talk about than that. That's his thing.
You think there's something? He thinks there's something to it.
Yes, he wouldn't. When we were out
He
there
was
for the
scared to
Super
go
Bowl,
there.
He wouldn't
He was scared to go there.
He was afraid to go because he was worried it was going to affect his golf game. That's what he was
He
worried
thought
about.
his ACL was going to slide off of his bone, like a
Next
pot
time he
roast.
pulled out a driver, huh?
Yeah, it's right. So I think for the country, I think we should all get together and we should find this hotel and we should have the drums. We should have a drum line. We should have people honking their horns.
What's too far? Let me ask you that. Like, should the hotel staff be on there, like shortening rations of food?
Yeah, no.
Can I have some ice water?
No,
Do they show up with boiling hot water?
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't mess with the food or water or anything. But make noise. Don't let them sleep.
Can I get an extra pillow? We're fresh out, brother.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we're out. Yeah, that's it. All right. Sean will be back tomorrow here on Bleck and Abdalla. Abdalla's out for the week as we'll hang out with you. The Jim Rome Show's coming up next right here on Westwood One Sports.
This is Westwood One Sports.